Hey guys, it's Siobhan, and I am the host of the Mic podcast or the Made in China podcast. And if you're like me or anybody else, you're probably wondering, like, Siobhan, it's been almost a year and nothing has been posted. Today, I am here to clear the air, let you in on a few things, and tell you what's going to happen to this podcast. So, let's get into it. For starters, the top question is probably, am I still going to continue doing this podcast? Yes. So a lot happened in my life last year. So I personally think I want to do this podcast so much with my whole heart and everything. Like, this podcast means so much to me, and I know to some of you it means just as much to me. And I absolutely love that. And I think this is an amazing thing. And I love that I was able to start this and help you all. But last year, I think I jumped a little too quickly and a little too deep into the water, especially with timing and everything. And that just fell out of hands really quickly. And then a lot of personal things happened on my end, and that really affected everything too. But I've seemed to gotten it all under control from what I can control. And I'm gonna do my best to focus on this podcast, focus on you guys, and make sure you guys get your episodes, you get filmed and everything. So with that, it would also help if you genuinely want to be on this podcast, that you follow up with everything, because I do this podcast. I am marketing chair for AAA, and I have a literal on-campus job. And not to mention, I'm a full-time student, so it's kind of hard handling all these things on my own. But if you could just help me with that part, beautiful, amazing. I'm so excited. So, let me explain to you what I learned from my freshman year. So, I met so many amazing people. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Do it again. Um, and then there were moments that I personally fell down, and I fell down a rabbit hole myself. So I've learned from it all. Do I regret anything I've done? I mean, a couple things, but not in the end, not really, because I learned from them all, and I am a much better person, and I matured from it. And that's really all I could ask for. I can tell you that for this podcast, I truly want to be here for you guys. And I could have been posting all these episodes that I have, like, edited and that are ready to fire out for you. But it did not feel right because I mentally wasn't here. Well, I personally was here, I just mentally was not. And I feel like I should owe you guys my 100%. If you're going to give your 100%, I have to give my 100%. And it's not fair if I am not here while you're giving, like, your whole life story. You know what I mean? I just didn't feel like that was right. And I still don't think that's right. So I have gotten help, which I think it's an amazing thing to do. If you're interested, nothing bad with it at all. Really, honestly suggest it. And I've been working on myself. This summer, a lot more things have happened to, like, crazyfy this, but I've focused on me. I've started to put myself first in a couple of circumstances. So, really good about that. Um, what happened last year? So when I started this podcast, let's see, I started it fall, so the beginning of the semester, literally beginning of school. Great, amazing, and not it was pretty easy. That's why I started it. You know, things are going super easy, flowing easy, and I thought I could do it. And that was until definitely spring semester hit, and I'm like, holy cow, and that's when things started to spiral. That's when I noticed problems. That's when people were telling me there was problems. And then that's just when it all basically crumbled down for me. And I was just like, I can't do this. Like, it would bring me to the point where I wouldn't want to do this podcast at all, which is not fair to you guys once again. I want to do this so wholeheartedly because I love telling everybody. They're like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I run a podcast. I host my own podcast show. And I want to be here 100% for you guys. And that is not me being there 100%. So I'm going to be here 100% now. Some of the things that I went through in first year of college and just my life that it is okay to go through. Depression. I went through a lot. I was depressed. It's okay. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are depressed. There's a lot of people that don't show it. I personally went through a little really bad time, and this isn't the first time that it was this bad. So I'm good now, and I would love to be there for you guys if you need somebody to talk to, because when I was younger, I didn't talk to anybody about it, and that really affected everything. And then leaving campus, I also felt like I was just a different human being than when I arrived on campus. And I understand people change and all, but like, this is a whole different change. And it was a change that I personally didn't like, and it was one that I would not make if I had the choice. So, and then over the summer, I thought it would get better. I thought like leaving campus, like, you know, getting away from everything, going home, my personal home, would help. It would make me feel better. And it actually didn't. I spiraled there a little bit more in the beginning of the summer, and I just felt lost, you know what I mean? Like, I had a ton of thoughts and things were running around in my head. It was just a lot, you know? And then, like, some of the thoughts you think about are like mean people, grades, work, friendships, relationships. And then something I focused on, which I probably shouldn't have, is like a lot of my insecurities. I focused on those a lot last year because, you know, I'm super insecure about them. And here I am in a group of my best friends. I'm in this big group with them. And then me versus them compared to them, I just compared myself to them a lot. Like, I was like, they have this and I don't. And I was like, I'm never going to be like this in them. I want to be like this in them. And it just, that sucked. I hated doing that. I hated doing that for them. But they didn't even know I was doing it. And I hated it for myself because I was just bringing myself down. So I know a lot of people talk about the freshman 15. That was a huge, huge, huge worry of mine. I was terrified of getting it. And so, you know, I walked every day to class. I rode the bike here, but it wasn't like, it's like an electronic bike. So I played volleyball with my friends. I went to the gym to work out and whatnot. I made sure I didn't do this. And, you know, I did lose weight in the beginning and I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, like, Mom, look at this. Like, look at all the muscle I'm building even more. And growing up, I did sports and my body has always been more muscle mass than bodily fat. So I was always thankful for that, but nobody's ever been able to tell that. You know what I mean? They always just think, oh my gosh, she's overweight. You know what I mean? And so, yeah. So, and then I learned the freshman 15 is honestly alcohol. And that had me thinking a lot too, because I'm like, I went out, I did all the college things, you know what I mean? And while I didn't participate that much enough that I personally thought could activate the freshman 15, it did influence it. And that brought in, like I said, the depression, and my thoughts, they were spiraling. Everything was bad. You know what I mean? Like, a couple things in my friend group went bad, and I took that wholeheartedly to my heart, and I just thought about it, and I thought on it. I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm the person who takes everything in personally, and I try to deal with it. Then I want to make sure everything's good, and I want to solve it. That's the person I am. And so that was just really hard, because it was just like I took in all the problems, and I took in problems that I didn't need to take in, and that sucked. So anywho, moral of the story, I went home and I was so excited, and then it was second semester. I noticed that I was I noticed myself going like downhill, and I noticed myself mentally going bad. But I just try to like push it off, because I'm like, it's fine. You know what I mean? Second semester, I would call my mom, and my mom was like, Siobhan, like, there's this many months left. There's this many weeks left. There's this many days left. You're fine. Like, keep it together. You know what I mean? You got this. But in my head, I'm hearing that, and it's just like, it's what I want to hear from my mom. But why does it feel impossible? You know what I mean? And it's just so hard when you hear the things you need to hear the things you want to hear, but you can't register them. You can't like physically understand them the way you need or want to understand them. And it gets confusing, and it was really hard for me. And then I would remember I would go into the stairwell of my dorm, my old dorm, and I would cry. I can't tell you how many times I cried. Like, I called my mom, and I just bawled my eyes out. I can't even like fathom it now, because it's just crazy to me. Like, I just wanted to hide it all. And thinking on that, there's no reason to hide it. I should have showed my emotions, but there were times I was put in situations where I couldn't show my emotions, and that's really hard. It's really hard. But if you're ever put in a situation like that, it's best, if you know you can't tell somebody your emotions, to just tell yourself, but tell somebody. You need to tell somebody. You can even tell your little notes app, like, tell somebody. And that's something I didn't do. So this made me want to move out of college and leave college ASAP, as soon as possible, quickly, up and out. I just was done with everything. When move out finally came, I was stressed even more. I was scared personally for myself, because you know what I mean? I could feel myself spiraling. I could feel myself not feeling good. I was scared. Like, I didn't know what was gonna happen. And so I went home, and everything was fine, you know what I mean? Like, it was amazing. I went home, it was relaxing. And then I tried to tell myself, look, I'm home. I'm home. You know what I mean? Like, there's no stress here, there's nothing. But it just, thoughts, like, when I was in my bedroom, the thoughts were pounding in my head. I couldn't help but not think about, as if I still was on campus. It literally felt like I was still laying in my bed on campus, but I'm in my own home, and that's so scary. This leads to this summer. After all that, after I told my mom, I told her, hey, like, look, this is going on. I want to get help. I need to talk to somebody. Like, I genuinely want to talk to somebody, because if not, like, I'm scared. Like, I just don't know what's gonna happen. And like, there's still parts of me. Like, I tell her, I was like, I'm feeling this type of way, but I don't want to feel this way. I don't know why I'm feeling this way. It's like genuinely so confusing. I feel like this one time in the day, and then it just instantly shifts to this, and I don't know why. And it's like the randomest things that can set it off, or that can trigger it. And if I'm going to be in the situation, I want to know how to deal with it and how to handle it, is basically what I was telling her. And so we looked into that, and it took a while, you know what I mean? And I was talking to other people, and they're like talking to people too, and they're like, it's taking forever too. I'm like, oh, yeah, see. So many things this summer happened that affected my life. So my mom, closer to the end of the year, she fell down a flight of steps working, and she like messed up her entire shoulder, and it needed surgery. This literally screwed me up too, because it's like, she did it. I was playing volleyball in the rec with my friends, and she called me. She's like, don't freak out, Siobhan, but I'm in the hospital. And then like right then, bawled my eyes out. Didn't know I could do that, by the way. And yeah, and she told me everything that happened, and it's been now. And she's having surgery super soon, so yay for that. But and then over the summer, what happened? The summer is crazy, and the summer was a relief in a sense. I had a lot of questions for myself, and I think that God answered them for me and my family, which I am so grateful for. So I got into a car wreck on the highway. I managed to shut down the entire highway as well. I was in the contraflow lane going to Cincinnati because I was going to buy a necklace. And I was on the contraflow lane, and this pickup truck like slammed their brakes on in front of me. And I slammed my brakes on as a result of it. And I didn't hit them, but the car behind me, he was going about 60, and he didn't see that we were stopped and just rear-ended us. So both of our cars totaled. That was a pretty major setback in my life, if I do say so myself. I went to the hospital that day. I was there for maybe 7 hours. And I was telling him, like, I'm in pain, but it's not showing, you know what I mean? So we did x-rays, we did CAT scans, everything. And they're like, everything, you know what I mean? It looks like this, it looks fine. What pain do you feel? And I was telling them, and they're like, okay, so it's internal bruising and everything. And I'm like, okay. But like, I have knee problems from the wreck that I am dealing with now. And it's so hard because like last night I was going to bed, and it was 3 a.m, and my knees were like throbbing in pain. I couldn't breathe without them hurting. It was just that bad. So the pain was unbearably bad. The car crash honestly was a life reset for myself. To this day, I can still remember everything that happened, like vividly too. It was just, I slammed on my brakes, and then I was so scared because like you slammed on your brakes on the highway, and then I didn't see the guy behind me until he hit us. And when he hit us, I just remember looking back, and then when the cars collided, I just saw glass flying, and I felt like my whole car like it shifted, obviously because of the hit. And my mom, I just remember seeing my mom like go forward and then back instantly into the seat. And this like set me off because I'm like, holy crap, like you're about to have surgery, and nothing can damage your shoulder right now, like that. And then I was so worried about it, and then I was worried about her, and like it was a lot. And then I just was getting scared because I'm like, what's gonna happen? I've never been in a car crash. I've never been in a situation for it. Like, I've only ever seen this stuff driving by, but now I'm the one living it. And then I was like, am I the cause of it? What happened? Yada, yada, yada. And I couldn't breathe. Life 360 was going off. And I was like, in my head, I was just like, I'm not gonna have a car. School is around the corner. I'm not gonna have a car. I won't be able to drive here. I can't drive to work over the summer. You know what I mean? I had 2 summer gigs, and one was my job, one was a summer gig, and I couldn't go to either one of those. And I was just like terrified. And I was like, I can't go to the hospital. The hospital bill is going to be entirely too much. Me and my mom don't have that money. Because, you know what I mean? She's living off workers' comp right now, and we're living bill to bill. And it's a scary place to be. Like, all these thoughts and everything. And my mom, she just was there, and she assured me that everything was going to be fine, and that I did need to go to the hospital, and that the wreck wasn't my fault. And she assured me that it wasn't my fault. And so I went to the hospital, and just keep in mind, don't ever get in the contraflow lane, like I said. And when if you do need to get out of the contraflow lane, like I did, there's no way to get out of it. The cement walls are cement walls. So the firemen, the police came, and the EMTs. And so they put a ladder over the cement wall. It was like a 6-foot ladder. And I had to climb up and over to get into the ambulance. And that was pretty embarrassing, because I'm sitting here bawling my eyes out because I'm apologizing to my mom. I'm apologizing, like, to everybody. I was telling my mom that I'm so sorry for the people behind me, because now they have to sit in that. I genuinely felt that bad, because it's like, I didn't know if they were gonna be mad, because it was like, I am so sorry that I put you in this situation, you know what I mean? But that was just because I couldn't register that the crash was not my fault. And that's a crazy thing as well. I just couldn't register that. And so I climbed over the wall, and I went to go in the ambulance. And I called it the walk of shame, because my car is right here. The wreck is right here. And then I walk, and the ambulance is right here. So keep in mind, it goes wreck, so both of our cars, and then all the cars behind us. So I did a little walk of shame, is what I felt like. And I'm just a sobbing mess until I hit into the ambulance. And there I was talking to them, and I was just like, hey, and they're like checking on me, and we're doing everything. And then they took me to the hospital, and that's where I was for 6 to 7 hours. Crazy enough. Anywho, I have been going to the doctors, orthotherapy, chiropractor, all that. So I'm getting taken care of, and I'm still doing it, and I'm still going to be going through all this even after school starts. So that sucks. My mobility is limited now, which sucks once again. But a beautiful thing came from this wreck. I don't know how I'm going to say this. I went to the doctors, and we got blood work done, which, granted, I should have done a little sooner in my life, but I think, like I said, I just had so many people tell me that, like, God must have loved me for keeping me alive in it, because literally flying at 60 behind us and then hit us. He did curve, which saved a lot of impact as well, and I thank him for that. But it's just like, we both walked away from it. You know what I mean? Like, we both walked out safely. And it crazes me how I did, you know what I mean? I had so many people tell me in the hospital that, like, God literally loves me enough because I am still alive, and I walked away with what I did versus anything worse. And I agree. A whole 100% I agree. Amen. And so, like I said, when we went to the doctors, we did blood tests, and, you know, like, giving blood, I give blood. When I was turned 16, that was the first thing I wanted to do. I wanted to donate blood. And I donated blood, and then I, like, get scared of donating blood now, because it's like, when I was in high school, I did it so I could get my red cord, which they didn't even let me wear, first of all, in graduation. Anywho, I did it so I could get my red cord, and also just because I just enjoyed, like, helping people. And I passed out 2 times. So it terrifies me now, nonetheless. But once I find, you know, you just gotta get a person who knows what they're doing, and who's nice. Anywho, so I gave blood, and then they were like, we'll call you tomorrow with the results. I was like, all right, cool. And then tomorrow came, and me and my mom were sitting on my couch at home, And I remember getting the call, and my mom was talking to the nurse and everything, and we were running it, and they were like, the only thing that stuck out to us is, what is it, your TCH levels? And the number that mine was versus what it should be between, it was like triple that. Maybe 5 times that. Like, it was supposed to be, what was it supposed to be, like a 4 or a 5, like 4.95, and mine was 20. This scared me, honestly. It didn't scare my mom as much, but it terrified me a little bit. And that was when I found out I had thyroid cancer and hypothyroidism. Something I did not expect myself to deal with or have. You know what I mean? Like, I felt fine. Everything was going fine. And then I never heard of it. You know what I mean? And you know what's funny about this entire situation, about me finding out about it, is we tested my dog for thyroid cancer because she's like gaining weight, and we're like doing everything we should, and it's just like, why is she still gaining weight? Why is she, you know, all these symptoms? And it was either this or something else was like super major, and we tested her for both, and she came back negative. And it's like, that's so crazy how we were testing her for this. I get into a wreck and I'm the one who has it. Like, how crazy is that? And yeah, so I haven't told anybody. My mom knows, the doctors. I haven't really told anybody since, because it's like, I don't know how to tell people. You know what I mean? I can't just be like, hey, I have this cancer. They're gonna be like, oh my god, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're gonna think, like, granted, it's not a bad thing to have. Like, I'm doing good. Like, I'm sitting here talking to you, it's fine. You know what I mean? But it's just like, it's a setback, and it's crazy. It's life changing, eye opening. I never know. So that's the scariest thing that's happened to me over the summer. And I've been taking medicine. I actually go to the doctor's tomorrow. I'm going home tonight, spending the night tonight, so I can do my blood work tomorrow morning. And then I see the doctor on Friday. So hopefully all is well. Taking my medicine. This is like the hardest pill I've ever taken in my life, because it's like, you have to take it right when you wake up, and then you can't eat for a certain amount of time, and you can't take certain medication or vitamins or anything for another certain amount of time after you take this. So that screwed me up a little bit, but I'm very thankful that we caught what I have when we did, and it didn't get any worse than it could be. I mean, it's pretty bad now, but yeah. And you're probably like, Siobhan, like, did you know you had it? No. I, once again, did not know this cancer existed. I didn't know the disease existed. But, you know, when I talk about it, it's like, who do I tell? I told my friend's mom. She has it as well. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's one that you would never know people have. And you can't, it doesn't affect you until it affects you. You can't let it affect your life, is what my point is. So, let's see, I am, 1, 2, 3, I have 5 more left until I'm done with this refill. So I'm gonna get a refill to see what the doctor says, if I need to bump it up or whatnot. But, and yeah, so that is my life. I've been through a lot, you know, my freshman year. I'm a sophomore now, so I'm so excited. And I do think that this podcast, I wanted to release one every single month, which I do think is very doable. But please, please, please do not expect me to shoot these rapidly out at you. Because I'm taking I have a lot of free time this year, but that doesn't mean I can spend it all on my podcast as much as I'd want to. And that doesn't mean you're going to get a podcast like every single week. I'm not that skilled yet. I would love to be, but I'm not. And I'm going to give these to you as quick as possible for both of us. But yeah. So like I said, all I ask from you guys that are going to be on it and want to be on the podcast is you fill out the form. You sign up a interview. Interviews are 30 minutes. 30 minutes is when like an interview. It's like when we talk to each other, I figure out what we're going to say, what the podcast is going to like be built by, what you want to say, and how I can incorporate this podcast. And then the 60 minutes is your physical recording your recording time. And if you guys, if you need more time to film or you want another episode, let me know, because I would love to do that. This is all about you guys. Like, this is your story and you need your chance to tell it. So that's on you. I shouldn't say it like that. That's your choice, and I would love to fulfill it for you. So yeah, and so just please, if I send you an email, follow up with it. If I don't respond, follow up with me as well, because my school email is like jam-packed, and chances are me not reading your email a little high, sadly. But I'm doing my best. I'm very excited for all of this, and I think I have some pretty interesting topics to talk about. So I was talking to my mom over the summer about how I wanted to do this, and I still think that it's going to be set up the same way it is. I'm going to interview you guys, we're going to film, and it's going to be all about you. I don't think in the podcast that I will be talking about myself much, unless we like click, or if you want me to talk about myself, you know what I mean? I'm going to have my own videos like this that are going to be set up, and it's just going to be me talking to you. And I can throw some questions on my Instagram, or you guys can like comment some questions, and I would love to answer them and talk about them. There are a few topics that I would love to talk about with you. A big one is on forgiveness, and that one's going to be a lot because it holds a lot of pressure in my life. So that's another episode, but I just want to make sure that I give you guys an explanation that you deserve. I get you guys caught up, and I let you see the path that I am currently on. Yes, I am so excited for this year. I'm so excited to be able to focus more on this podcast, but more than anything, I'm excited to be here for you, be here with you. And like I said, this podcast wouldn't be it without you. So thank you so much. I will make sure I get calendar set up anyhow, so you can look at the dates with my classes this year and everything, and sign up for interviews, sign up for recordings, all that fun stuff. Yeah. I'm so sorry about the delay and the long year it's taken me to release anything, but I hope you understand, and I'm so excited for what the Mic podcast is going to bring to you guys. I truly, truly am. And all the amazing people that I've already interviewed, talked to, their stories are coming out to you so soon. You better believe it, okay? Thank you guys so much. Once again, this would not be possible without you. I thank you so much. Make sure you share this. If you want to be on it, remember to fill out the form. Everything is in the link tree on the Instagram at TheMICpc on Instagram. Thank you guys. I love you so much. Bye.